We hear so much talk about AI replacing jobs, but what if the real story is actually about partnership? Today, we're going to dig into the powerful synergy between artificial intelligence and human communities. And believe it or not, it all kicks off with a surprisingly charming business proposal. Check this out. This was the number one reason a young man gave his parents for why they should buy him a bunch of computer parts. He laid out his entire case in this super endearing, typo-filled document to build his own PC. It was just so full of human quirks, you knew right away it wasn't generated by some AI. Well, his parents said yes, and the project was on. So he gets all the components, the case, the motherboard, the whole shebang. He starts putting it all together, and for a little while, everything's going great. But, as anyone who's ever built a PC knows, there's always that one moment where something just doesn't work. So he hits his first snag. The case fans were spinning just fine, but their cool RGB lights were totally dark. He turns to his bro, which is what he calls his AI assistant, snaps a quick picture of the wiring, and just asks, "What's wrong?" And get this, in less than a minute, the AI zeroes in on the problem. A specific power cable, a Molax connector, wasn't hooked up right. He fixes it, the lights flare to life, and boom, problem number one is solved. He was probably feeling pretty confident at this point, all ready to boot up his new machine. But that celebration was maybe a little premature. A much more serious, honest-to-goodness show-stopping problem was lurking. So everything's plugged in, he hits the power button, the fans are spinning, but the monitor? Completely blank. Nothing. So naturally, he goes right back to his AI bro for help. But this time, the AI was, well, it was useless. It just kept spitting out the same generic advice. Check the cables, reseat the graphics card, over and over and over again. It was totally stuck in a loop, completely unable to figure out what was really going on. Okay, so he's frustrated, getting nowhere with the AI, so he pivots. He goes to the old school sources of deep, specific knowledge. Human communities. He starts digging through forums on Stack Overflow and Reddit, places where real people are sharing their real-world headaches and, more importantly, their solutions. And there it was. After just a little bit of scrolling, he finds it. It wasn't some complex technical glitch. Nope. He had simply plugged the HDMI cable into the motherboard's port instead of the graphics card's port. A classic rookie mistake. Now, this is the perfect example of something a human with experience spots in a second, but an AI just looking at wiring diagrams might totally miss. He switched the cable, and the screen roared to life. So this simple story about building a computer, it's actually a perfect metaphor for this huge concept that's happening in business and tech right now. It really uncovers what we're calling the 80-20 power rule for getting things done. Okay, here's the breakdown. AI is absolutely incredible at giving you that 80% head start. It can generate the plan, it can write the code, it can diagnose all the common problems, and it gets you most of the way there, super, super fast. But that last crucial 20%, that part requires human context, nuance, and actual real-world experience. Think of it like this, right? The AI provides the blueprint. It brings the speed, the scale, and all the data-driven answers. But humans, we provide that last mile. We bring the nuance. We add the real-world context that data alone can't see. And we provide that essential gut check, that validation that tells you you're actually on the right track. They're not opponents, they're partners. Okay, so that's a great story, but how does this actually apply in, a professional setting? Let's take this 80-20 rule and see how it plays out with a pretty common business challenge. So this is Patrick. He runs a training center, and his students get certifications that, of course, expire. What he needs is a system in his CRM that'll automatically email them 90 days before expiration to give them a heads up to renew. It's a classic automation task. So Patrick asks an AI for help, and the AI gives him a fantastic, super detailed 80% solution, a whole technical workflow step by step. But when he takes that plan to a human community of experts, they provide that critical final 20%. They suggest a way more efficient setup. They bring up business logic the AI totally missed, like needing consent and audit logs for certain industries. And they even consider the user experience, suggesting SMS for trainees like, say, construction workers who aren't sitting at a desk all day. Now, that's the kind of nuance AI just doesn't have yet. And this right here, this is that golden nugget of wisdom that you can only get from real human experience. An expert in the community just chimed in with this specific tip. See, it's not just a solution, it's the best practice. Something born from years and years of doing this exact thing. This is the kind of wisdom that separates a system that just works from one that's truly optimized.
So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? Well, it's really about understanding how to connect these two incredibly powerful forces, the AI blueprint and that human final mile, to get the absolute best results possible.
First, let's be super clear. That 80% from AI is an absolute game changer. It dramatically slashes the time it takes to learn and implement something new. It gives you a massive head start, a really solid foundation you can build on faster than ever before. But, and this is a really big but, we can't just stop at 80%. That final 20%, that's where all the magic happens. That's where you turn a good solution into a truly great one. And that comes from human connection, from asking questions, sharing experiences, and getting that crucial validation from people who've actually been there before. Ultimately, the entire conversation really needs to shift. This isn't about fearing replacement or, picking a side. The future is all about synergy. It's about using AI for that initial heavy lifting and then tapping into human communities for the final polish. That's how we're going to get smarter, faster, and far more valuable outcomes. And that leaves us with a question for you to think about. I want you to look at your own projects, your own challenges. Where have you built a really solid 80% solution? And where could that final, game-changing 20% of human insight take it to a whole new level?